back again finally for the weekend. That is me done for the weekend. I am joined by Mike from West Ham Unofficial. Mike, how are you doing, first of all?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, not bad at all, really, mate.
Well, good. First off, I want to ask you, how was your experience on West Ham Fan TV? That's the first one I ask you.
Very, very good, mate. Yeah. You've got to give them boys the credit. You know, they hang around there after the game for a long time, don't they? And give everyone a chance to have their say. And they're good lads.
Yeah, they're top blokes, I must admit, and totally respect them. Before we get into the game, how did you sort of find it yesterday, like in regards of like, well, first of all, it being local to you, first of all.
Well, that's the good thing about it, mate. It's almost a home game for us. From Wincanton up to there, I mean, it's hour and 3/4 with traffic even, you know. So, it's a nice little trip. I went to the Dell and watched West Ham. Was one of my first games back in 1971, I think it was. Went to the Dell a few times, but I'd never been to St Mary's, to be totally honest. Tom went, I'd say, about 3 years ago with Rich and Jake, and they had a great day. And he said to me, "Dad, you got to go. You got to go there again next time. It's a good atmosphere there."
Yeah, I must admit, that's one on the bucket list for me. Southampton. It's a nice city. It's a nice city. It's pretty mellow there. But let's get into it, Mike. Right, the starting lineup come out. What was your thoughts on the starting lineup?
It didn't shock me, James, because he's been loyal, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, David Moyes has been loyal to the guys that's, put it in for him, and not let them down. But the two changes I definitely would have made, even though I love the guys both to death. Fabianski, I think, needed a little rest, and we could have given Ariel a go. And I would have put Zuma in instead of Dawson.
Yeah.
That would have been my two changes from that lineup. But I understand the way Moyes has gone, and he's been loyal to the boys that have looked after him. But he spent a lot of money on some of these guys, so they got to start feeding them in quite soon.
The problem is with it is that I understand with the loyalty. Don't get me wrong, I do. But we want to. Yesterday's game, we could have lost that game through silly mistakes. Like, do you know what I mean? And that 3 points could be the difference between us getting into a top 4, top 6. You know what I mean? Finished. So I understand it. I weren't happy, if I'm honest. Like Zuma, you buy Zuma. The Areola one, I think I know what I'm expecting now. Like I expect him to start on Thursday. If he don't start on Thursday, I'll be shocked. But the Zuma one, I can't work it out. Like I was on another show on another platform last night, and someone said it, and it was a good point. They said, "Wouldn't you rather bring him in against Southampton rather than Man United?" Like Man United are going to be a well-marshalled, like they're buzzing at the minute, and Southampton would have been a nice game to bring him in, like to ease him in. Do you know what I mean? But I understand it. Like, how did you think Dawson played yesterday?
To be totally honest, I don't think he had a great game. His distribution wasn't good. 2 or 3 times he just, played a poor ball, but he did make a good clearance. I mean, that was goal bound, that shot that he headed away.
Yeah.
And he wasn't awful, James, but Zuma could have been so much better in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you totally there.
Yeah.
I really do. I just think when you look at Zuma, it's a different aspect, isn't it? I don't get it wrong. He did do that good clearance in the first half, but the second half, But when that man hit the post, that was because of Dawson misjudged it and let him off. And then the ball comes in from the corner and Rice clears it off the line. But we'll get into that. So who wasn't on it for you yesterday, Mike? In your opinion,
there's a lot of players not on it, mate. A lot of players, and a lot of players look leggy to me. As I said in the interview after the game, I mean, for me, a lot of players who've been really good for us. Soufel, Soucek, been very reliable. They didn't let us down yesterday, but they just didn't seem to have the energy, mate. They just didn't seem to have the gas in the tank. It was empty.
Yeah. And funny though, these are the players who come back from the Euros. Like one team got to the semi-final in the Czechs.
Yeah,
Rice done well yesterday. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't vintage. Like as we all know him, it wasn't vintage. And there's just having an international. I don't agree with having international breaks during the season. I think they should be a time where they should have even have 3 weeks. Have the Premier League off halfway through the season or something. Have 3 weeks off. Do all your internationals, job done. Do you know what I mean? And not stop and start because it just takes the rhythm out of it. So basically, we started the game, Mike. What was you thinking when we kicked off in the first half? What's your thoughts in the first half?
Southampton sat very deep, mate. I know we're gonna get a lot of that now. You know, teams aren't going to give us any space up there with the way we counter attack and get. We've got a lot of pace to get behind the defence. So I was really disappointed in Southampton as well. They didn't really have a go until late in the game when we really tired. That was the only time they had a go. If they'd have come and had a go, then we could have broke on them, you know. And it was it made it a bit of a dour game, to be honest. Yeah. Is that
the problem with us now, though? Is that I've noticed something in the last 4 games that West Ham's played, obviously with 1-2, drew 2. The 2 games that teams have come at us, we've destroyed them in Leicester and Newcastle.
Yeah.
And 2 teams who have sat, we've found it difficult in Palace and Southampton. Do you think that teams are going to set up in that way now to try and hit us on the break and not play expansive, so to speak?
I honestly think we'll do better against teams that are going to come and play. You're right.
Yeah,
absolutely. Teams like Southampton who really needed a point. You know, they because they've been struggling a little bit. Although they got a point against Man United at home. Remember, you know it.
Yeah.
So it's not the worst thing, but yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of teams who are going to be mid-table or just below who are going to set up against us. You know what I mean, and not have a go at all. We expect it from teams like Burnley and whatever. That's the way they play, you know. I mean, there's going to be a lot of teams now going to look at us in a little bit of a different light, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I really do. And it proved it yesterday in that first half. It was the one thing I will say about the first half before we get on to the second half. There was a lot of sideways and back passing. Like I noticed that yesterday. Like it was stop, start, pass, back. It was just never free flowing. Right, it was never get the ball forward. It was like about 3 passes before it went forward. What was your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, we didn't move the ball quick enough, and we didn't move it. I mean, Ben Rama tried a couple of balls. He tried to feed a couple of balls through the defence, and they got cut out. But at least he was trying to do that. You know what I mean? He's going to get shot down for that, but he was trying to get that ball through their back four. I mean, you know, he didn't have a great game. You know, Ben Rama, you know, I'm a big fan of his as well. But at least he was trying to have a go at it. I mean, Southampton were exactly the same. I said a couple of times, Ward-Prowse gets the ball and he had a chance to ping it through to Armstrong with his pace. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying I'm disappointed about them because he turned around a couple of times and went back. And we were doing the same. And that's why the game was a bit of a boring game, to be honest.
It was just cancelling each other out, wasn't it? Really, in a roundabout way. I agree with the Ben Rama thing. Like, as we all know, like, I like Ben Rama, but at the end of the day, he was poor yesterday. He just wasn't the same geezer. He just wasn't the same bloke at all. And it was a shame, really, because I was really looking forward to him playing. What did you make of Jared Bowen yesterday in that first half?
Yeah, in the first half, I thought he was good. Yeah, he had a go. He did have a go. Couple of runs, he was a little bit unlucky. And at least he looked like he was buzzing a bit there at times. But again, he ran out of steam. And he's not been away on an international duty. But, I mean, you know, some of them have got a bit of an excuse. But he looked like he ran out of steam as well. So that's a puzzling one.
It is, mate. It is. So half-time come, Mike. Obviously, what was you thinking at half-time? Like, I thought, going into the second half.
I thought half-time, okay, we've done all right. You know what I mean? We were the better team. We had more of the ball. Not a lot, but we were the better team of the two. I thought, right, now, come on, let's come out that's come out of the blocks in the second half and have a real go, but it never happened, mate. And as the second half went on, it got worse.
Yeah, I agree. I will say one thing: Fornell's put a nice ball into Ben Rama.
Yeah.
Just after the half-time break, basically. And if the ball is straight, I think Ben Rama gets onto that and makes a chance. Where the ball goes wide, he has to check back, and it's just the momentum of the attack went. But it was just sort of like there was nothing really else to talk about, really, other than like Bowen had a shot in the second half that was a good save from McCarthy.
The bar, yeah,
and then Southampton had 2 golden chances. Mike, what was your thoughts when that ball hit the post?
I thought he was going to score, to be honest, mate, because he left the 2 centre halves for dead, and I was that then was when I looked at the bloke who stood next to me. I said, and he had Zuma on his shirt, and I said, that's when we needed your mate, because of that bit of pace, and I said, I was shocked, I thought he's going to score, but I'll be fair to Fabianski, he did cut the angle down quite well. There was only he only had a little gap to get that ball in, and he had it covered quite well.
I agree, and this is the thing and I'll move on to our only striker in a minute because we've got a lot to say about him. But like when that man's going through, he's a Chelsea loanee, and he just went straight through our defence like they weren't even there. And I must admit, I agree with you on that with Fab. I didn't really think about it earlier on, but yeah, he did cut the angle down well. I thought Fab played all right yesterday. I thought he didn't really do a lot wrong.
He did.
But so anyway, going into sort of the last sort of few minutes, whoever Declan Rice clears the ball off the line. And when you look back at it, Dawson's underneath the ball and gets out jumped by someone, and Declan Rice is there to save the day. If that goes in, Mike, that would have been devastating, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, neither team deserved the win. I don't think either team deserved 3 points. We both got a point, and it looked like we both just played for a point. In my mind, Southampton were really happy with that point. So it does sort of prove how far we've come, in a way that they're happy to get a 0-0 draw at home against us. But yeah, like I say, it could have been worse. It was a good clearance by Rice. To give him his due, I thought he had a half decent game. But especially as he played 2 full games.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I thought under circumstances, he had a decent game.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I thought he'd done all right.
Yeah,
like it weren't vintage from Rice, but it was like. But that's the thing with Rice. Rice ain't got to be vintage, and he's still good.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So, yeah. Before we get on to Antonio, what did you make of Vlasic coming on and Yarmolenko, mate?
Actually, Vlasic, he looked good. Yeah, I thought he did. He livened it up. He livened things up. Yarmolenko again. I feel a bit sorry for the guy in a way. He gets 10 minutes. I know he's done the same thing as he did against Palace. He's dragged the ball back, got it onto his left foot, and hit the flipping thing over the bar. But he's had 2 chances. You know what I mean? Everyone. No one's going to score with 2 chances every time, are they? In 10 minutes every time. So, although I'm not his biggest fan, I do also feel for him a bit that he's not really getting a fair crack of the whip. Hey, he might do Thursday night, and we'll see what he's got then.
Yeah, I agree. I think, does he start for me? No. Does he come off the bench and try and make an impact? I think he's an impact sub for us this year. That's what I say. I just don't see him getting in front of anyone else.
Yeah.
But I just want to answer this comment quickly. Fever, has Daya give you any grief about Zuma starting? Yes, he did. I had to pay him a £5, by the way. I had a bet with him that Zuma would start, and I'll give it to charity. So yeah, it's all right. It's all for love, mate. But yeah, he got it right. He did get it right. So let's get into it, Mike. Mr. Antonio. I don't know where to start on this. I thought he was absolutely dreadful in the match. I thought he got bullied by them 2 centre halves. He gets booked. Having a tussle when he should just leave it. He's won the free kick, right? And then he goes and gets sent off in the 91st minute. What's your thoughts, mate?
I thought his sending off was because he had a poor game.
Yeah,
that's what it was all down to. Like I said, he did throw matey on the ground. What the point of that was, I do not know. That tussle was totally pointless. Just get up. You've won the free kick and get on with it. And then near the end, he's lost the ball and he's committed the old cardinal. He stuck his foot off. His foot's that high off the ground. I mean, it's just another yellow, full stop, and he's got to go. And he's going to miss the game against Man United now. Maybe he does need a rest. Do you know what I mean? It might not be the worst thing in a way, but because as I've already said, we've got no plan B.
Yeah.
What we're going to do.
The thing is, I think he starts in Zagreb now.
Well, it probably does.
I actually really do believe that. I think he's going to start in Zagreb, and then he's got a 9-day rest then. Which is more than enough. He's going to play on the Thursday, and then he's got the Sunday off, and our next game after that ain't to the Saturday at 3 against Leeds away. So he has to. I don't know what he's doing. I watched it and I thought, why you? And I've had debates with people on social media and etc. And they're saying to me, "Oh, it's a mistake. You've just got to move on from it." But I'm like, he knows how important he is to us, and he's just put us in a position now where our next game, we're going to go up against a Manchester United team who are absolutely flying, and we have not got a striker on the pitch, which is going to be a worry. Where do we go now in regards to Man United and with him not being there?
Yeah, I think Vlasic goes and plays as a false 9 or whatever. I think that's the only option we got now, mate. Yeah, he's got sent off because he's frustrated. He's had a bad game. He's gone all the way to Jamaica. He's played that game on a rough old pitch and, a pretty poor standard of game it was.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he's frustrated on a couple of accounts. He's had a poor game, and has he made the right decision by doing what he's done with his international, his international stuff?
Yeah, it's just frustrating. I must admit, though, even regardless of the sending off, I thought he was just poor. I thought he got bullied by them. Yeah, I thought their two centre halves doubled up on him and basically bullied him all game. And I have noticed that with Antonio in certain games. I noticed it last season, and I've noticed it now again. In games when he gets bullied and he gets sort of ushered out the game, he goes missing, and that is a problem. And he's our only striker, and if teams figure out how to sort of shut him down, then that's our major threat gone. Basically, do you know what I mean? Well, while you're here, I'll tell you what I'll do, mate. I'll get your player ratings for all the players while you're here. So just quickly go through them. So let's start off and go with Fabianski. Give me a rating out of 10 for his performance yesterday.
Well, the guy's really had a lot to do, to be totally honest. He's already had the shot to save. I mean, like I said, if you look back, he cut that angle down quite well for that shot there at the post. He didn't give him much room to put it in. So, because he's done nothing wrong, I'd have to give him a 7, but that would be, as much as you can give him, really.
That's the exact rating that I give him earlier on. I just want to see if you're going to give him the same ratings that I'll give him earlier. Yeah. Let's go Kufal.
Yeah, he didn't have his greatest game, mate. He didn't have his greatest game. He wasn't poor. A couple of times he ushered the winger out over the line, and his crossing was quite poor yesterday. Unlike him, I'm gonna have to give him a 6.
6. Well, I'll give him a 7. I thought he was. I thought
he was okay.
He's okay, yeah, and for the standards that he sets. Yeah, an okay game is like very rare. Do you know what I mean? But I agree.
I'm a big fan of his, and he didn't really get skinned at all yesterday. So defensively, fine, but his crossing wasn't good, and he gave the ball away a couple of times, which is unlike him. So so I'm gonna have to give him a 6.
6. Cresswell, mate.
Again, didn't have that much to do. Free kick. Disappointed with his free kick.
I agree.
Could have done a lot better. he goes in at another 6 for me, I'm afraid.
Same as me, mate. Yep. Exactly the same as me. Same reasons and all. Crossing was poor. As either over it or under it. It was just never. So I agree with you on that. Let's start with a Bonner, centre half.
Didn't do a lot wrong, really. He gets a 7 for me. He was there in the right place at the right time. 99% of the time. Didn't really put a foot wrong. He could have been a whole lot better with Zuma alongside him as well. So,
yeah, I agree, mate. I do agree. And the same rating, I'll give him an all. I'll give him a 7. Same views also. Craig Dawson.
I'm afraid I'll have to give him a 5 because his distribution at times was abysmal, really. He got caught for pace a couple of times. He did make that one good clearance, fair dues. That could have went in if he didn't get his head in the way of it. But yeah, for me, I'm going to have to give him a 5.
Yeah, see, I'll give him a 6, but it was a very tight 6. It could have easily been a 5. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I agree. I just think he needs to come out. He's not. Yeah. He shouldn't be a starter for West Ham. He's a backup defender, and that's not being rude to him because how well he's done for us.
Yeah.
But we've got to respect him for what he is, and he's a backup defender, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah.
But I agree. Declan Rice.
Yeah, he actually gets an 8 from me because he was our best player, I thought. And like I said, under the circumstances, he played a couple of games in national games in a week. He was, if he hadn't cleared that off the line, he's won us a point, clearing that off the line. But also, he was getting around the pitch. Didn't really put a foot wrong. He had a decent game.
Yeah, I agree. Same rating as I give him. I thought he wasn't vintage, but he was good.
No,
he was good. Like, do you know what I mean? The other defensive midfielder, we might have different views on him, but Soucek.
Yeah, he didn't have his greatest game. Again, didn't do a lot wrong, but
is he burnt out, Mike?
He looked leggy. He looked leggy to me. Just especially in the last 20 minutes, I thought he looked like he was being. I mean, he plays every game. Why did he play a friendly the other night? I mean, that was a friendly they played in, but maybe they haven't got many more players to play in his position or whatever. But I've got to give him a 6, I'm afraid.
Was you, even though he was leggy, was you shocked that Moyes didn't bring on Corral just to shore it up and get him out of there?
Yeah, mate, I thought that was going to be the first sub. I thought it'd been Corral and then Vlasic. That's what I thought he was going to do. I mean, it would have been ideal to get Corral on, I think, in that game because of the way we were beginning the tire and the way Soucek was beginning the tire. That would have been the time to do it.
Let's start off with Bowen. Bowen on the right.
Good first half. Yeah, I thought it was okay. Still didn't quite do enough. His decision making at times wasn't perfect, but I've got to give him a 7 because he's still putting himself around, and he's giving it 100%. He had a good effort.
Yeah, I'll give him an 8. Yeah, the only reason why I give him an 8, I thought he was our best player. I didn't see anyone who was any better than him. Sort of thing.
He was still giving it everything. The first half, especially, I thought he was, the one man who was going to do it for us. To be totally honest, and like I said, he had a best effort. Full stop.
Yeah, Pablo Fornals, mate.
Yeah, not too bad. A 7 again. Not his best game again, but he popped up in a few places. He played a few. He tried to put a couple of passes in. They didn't quite come off, but he looked busy. He picked up a couple of loose balls, and he did look threatening at times. So I'll stick with a 7 for him.
Mr. Benrahma.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his, mate, but it won this day. He gets a 6 he gets a 6 from me because at least he was trying to play those balls some penetrating balls, and he was trying to pass the ball forward. So that's why he gets a 6.
I gave him a 5, just to the sheer fact he just wasn't in. Just was not him at all.
He wasn't on
and
it.
he just wasn't on it at all, mate. But yeah, I agree with you there totally. Finally, Mikel Antonio.
Yeah, poor game. Probably, it was probably coming. I thought this game was probably coming, to be honest. But when you look around, what do we do? Have we got anyone to replace him? No, we haven't. We should have got someone. We all know that. But he looked totally burnt out, and he was bullied at times out of the game. And I'm reluctantly giving him a 5. It could have been a 4.
Yeah, you're being kind, mate. I gave him a 4. I thought he was I just thought he was poor. I thought he got destroyed by basically 2 defenders who previous weeks have conceded 3 at Everton, 2 at Newcastle, and do you know what I mean? And we can't even score 1. So I thought he was poor. Quickly, mate, the subs. Give us a rating for Yarmolenko and Vlasic. Obviously, you only see a bit of them.
It's tough. I mean, Yarmolenko come on and he created that chance again and then blasted it over the bar. I can't give him any more than 5, really, because he's not had the time to do anything else. But Vlasic, I like the look of him. He certainly gave something. In just for that short time, I still give him a 7 because he gave us something. And I think this guy, he was, chewing at the bit. He wanted to get out of there. You could tell it.
That's good, mate. Good, positive signs from him.
Yeah.
Obviously, the fans get a 10 out of 10 because the support there. You was there yesterday. Phenomenal. Singing.
Mate, I mean, the fans were absolutely terrific. Seeing the sort of game we had. I mean, they were right from the start. They got behind the team and they kept behind the team for 90 minutes. And it was great to be part of it. I mean, we didn't have a lot to cheer about, to be totally honest. But the fans were 10 out of 10, mate. 10 out of
10. The ref.
Now, he made some very questionable decisions at times.
Yeah, I saw him all the way from here.
Oh, mate, I thought, what was he giving there? What's he doing? He had about a 10-minute spell where I think he just got everything wrong. For both sides as well. I mean, for them even? I mean, I can't remember. Give that decision when someone went down with an injury and Southampton were through. This is Southampton I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And they were breaking and he's blown up for the injury and it wasn't even a head injury. And he's blown up and then he's pulled it back and then he's done a drop ball. And for some reason or another, he's made up some new rules or something about the drop ball. I couldn't believe what was going on, mate. He was poor, 4 for me at the best. Yeah.
Yeah, mine was a 4, and I'll give him a 3. I'll tell you the reason why. When Bowen got act down on the 36th minute in the first half, he didn't even give a foul. He just went carry on. I was like, that's enough for me to say that his ref's not on it today. But he was poor.
He was shocking, mate. Yeah,
he was dreadful. And finally, rate Moyes out of 10 for yesterday.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to give him a 6 because it just, for me, he's got a couple of things wrong. Hey, come on, we can't knock the guy for what he's done, and we're still 5th in the league, and we'd probably be taking that, after 4 games. He hadn't got a lot wrong in his time since he's been there, but I mean, I think he could have changed a couple of things yesterday. Yeah. He could have started with Zuma. He could have made a couple of subs a bit earlier. But hey, I mean, you can't blame him for the fact that, well, I don't think you can blame him for the fact there's nothing to bring on to go up front. So,
yeah, I agree on that point. The only thing I will say is that I think he got away with one yesterday. Like with Dawson, like playing Dawson. I think if Dawson makes a ricket or makes a howler, which could have happened.
Yeah.
then the pressure, the criticism would have been straight on Moyes. Why are you playing Dawson? You got an French international defender on the bench, and you're playing Craig Dawson. And but I gave him a 7. The only reason why I gave him a 7 because he did change it at the time. Like even though Ben Rama was poor, he did change it at the right time.
True.
Brought Yarmolenko on. But yeah, maybe whether Zuma plays or not, it didn't reflect the game, but it could have done if Dawson makes them. If they take their chances, then we lose that game. Do you know what I mean? Definitely. So So to sort of round it up, Mike, how do you see it now going forward with no Antonio now? What is Plan B?
Well, we're all worried about Plan B, aren't we? Because we're going to just what we're going to do? We're going to drop back the 3 at the back, and it makes me think that's what he's going to do against Man United.
I actually believe he does that, mate.
Yeah, I think he does that against United, and it worries me because if you just let them come at you, they're going to cause us all sorts of problems. If we can hang in there for for a long period in the game and frustrate them, then we might be able to get away with Vlasic as a false 9 or whatever. But it could all go horribly wrong. Yeah.
I must admit that's the one fear. Obviously, we've got Zagreb. Quickly, mate, what's your thoughts on that game? Thursday night, first game in Europe, away. What are you thinking?
I think we've got to make changes because of the, but not too many. Not too many, because we be nice to go and get at least a point over there. I think he can play Antonio now.
Yeah.
I think he wouldn't have played him, Andy got sent off. So that might be a plus for that game. I think he's got to bring Kroll in. He's got to bring Vlasic in. He's got to bring Zuma in. He's probably going to bring Areola in. Maybe another defender. I don't know. Is Ben Johnson in the squad? I think they don't need to name the 23s, do they?
Yeah, he's in the squad. Yeah.
Yeah, someone like that, maybe. But not too many. Not.
I think if Antonio doesn't start on Thursday, I think there'll be a lot of angry West Ham fans because if you start Yarmolenko and Antonio, obviously I know Antonio plays Saturday, but after the Thursday night game, you don't play for 9 days, so that's 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Just short of 2 weeks. So he should be playing on Thursday night up there against whoever. I don't think Ben Rama will play.
No,
maybe Fornells may play. I don't know, but that's a push. But I agree. If we get to go over there and get a point, I'll be over the moon with that.
Yeah, I'll
get back here. Yeah, and positive result on the first time in Europe for a hell of a long time. Yeah. So that rounds it up, Mike. I just want to thank you for coming on, mate. I really do appreciate it. No it's been a pleasure, and obviously the result wasn't what we wanted after waiting 2 weeks for the international break, but roll on Thursday. Thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe if you're new, like the video, goes a long way, and I will be back soon. Take care.
Thanks, mate.